What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another deck profile here on TCGU University. I am Michael, and today for the Canvas Championship of our Series 2 for Libra Souls, I was playing Astaroth under Earth. I actually really like this character. He's one of my favorite characters from the set. Just burning yourself for damage, flipping your opponent's foundations, and then just picking up a 5 difficulty attack from your discard pile once per turn. It's actually pretty good. And it's not even your turn, or on your turn, so if you play reversals, you can get a lot of mileage out of it. Yeah, let's just dive into the deck. Alright guys, so like I said, we were playing Astaroth today. So he's got Earth, Evil, and Fire. And then he's a 6-hander with 33 life, which is actually pretty ridiculous in my opinion. I think he's just a little too bulky, but his enhance and his response make him have such like a big life total. You need a lot of life. So we got an enhance of pay 2 life to give +3 damage, and then if your opponent's zones to zone blocks you, then you get to flip one of your opponent's foundations, and then if they partial block, off zone block, then they flip one of their own foundations. Then he has a response once per turn. If your opponent doesn't block your attack, you can pay 3 life to pick up a 5 difficulty attack from your discard pile to your hand. So yeah, we're just going to flip stuff, get a lot of damage, and then we're going to pick up a card that's going to hopefully blow our opponent out. Alright, so for the attacks, we're playing 4 Flight of the Wicked. I actually really like this card, especially with one of the assets that we're playing. It's a 5/3/3 low block, 4 high for 6. It's got Desperation 4 Throw. A lot of his cards have Desperation, which is really nice. And then it has Enhance. Discard the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you get +1 damage for each of your opponent's face-down foundations. So this deck's not going to be focused around flipping all of your opponent's face-downs, but we want to get at least 4 or 5 flipped, so then we're getting like 4 or 5 damage pretty consistently and pretty constantly, which will be really nice for us. I'm playing 3 of Vicious Madness. It's a 5/3/3 low block, 4 mid for 8. This card also combos very well with one of our assets that we're playing. Desperation 4 Throw. Lose 2 Vitality. Your opponent cannot partial block this. This card is really, really good. With Astaroth, it's a 4 mid for 11, and they have to block mid. And we have a couple options where we can give speed. So this attack just really gets out of hand. It could have been maybe even a 6 diff, but then Astaroth couldn't pick it up. I think this 4 mid for 8 throw is actually just kind of ridiculous. And it just helped me blow people out, which I really liked. I really like this attack. I'm playing 3 Final Anguish. It's a pretty good card. Just Earth Enhance, give it a throw, and then combo Enhance with the throw. This gets powerful X. X equals the number of face-down foundations that your opponent has. So like I said, we want to get at least 4 or 5 of our opponent's things flipped face down. So this card can get powerful 4 or powerful 5, and then it's a throw. So like we'll use like 3 momentum, and then Astaroth, and so it's like a 6 mid for like 25 or something like that. That's a throw, which is insane. It's going to deal 13 damage if they block it. It's a 6 speed throw. It's really good. It's a 5/2 with a 0 high block, but it's got Desperation 4 weapon, and yeah, it's got the combo. I think this card is really, really good. I think it warrants the 2 check, but I think just all the text printed on this just destroys the 2 check. I think it is absolutely worth it. So on to, not exactly tech, but some cards that I thought would be really good to pick up off of Astaroth, but I didn't want to see a lot of copies in because I didn't think that they helped us exactly. There's one card in here that helped us a lot that I wish I'd played more copies of. So I'm playing 2, I Shall Save Humanity. I just thought this would be really nice, just being able to flip 4 or 5 of our opponent's foundations face down, and then just like snag an asset, or just like commit the 2 assets for the powerful 10. But yeah, so Enhance, I can add an asset I could normally play from my discard pile, but it's only playable if my opponent has 3 or more face down foundations. So like I said, yeah, we want to average 4 or 5 face down, so a lot of our cards are live. And it's got an Enhance of commit 2 assets to get powerful 10. It's a 5 mid for 7 with a 0 high block, and it's a 5/2. It doesn't have throw, unlike some of our other cards, but it builds us an asset, which some of the assets in our deck are really good. I'll show you in a sec. And then it just says commit 2 assets for powerful 10, which is really insane if your opponent's not ready for it, or if your opponent just can't physically block it. This card can blow your opponent out. And then I'm playing 2 From Science with Love. Personally, I like this card just a little bit more, just because, like I said, since we're averaging about 4 or 5 face-down foundations, then we'll enhance, give this a multiple X. X equals the number of our opponent's face-down foundations. And then its other enhances, we gain momentum equal to the number of assets in our staging area. So this 5/3/0 low block 4 high for 5 is going to just be a one-man killing machine. Thanks to Astaroth, it's going to be a 4 high for 8, and all of its multiple copies are going to be 4 highs for 8. And if our opponent partials, then they flip a foundation, and if they unblock it, then we're going to flip a foundation, and then that's just going to feel like a lot more of our cards, which is really nice. I think From Science with Love with 2 face-down foundations pairs perfectly into I Shall Save Humanity. Yeah, I think it's a really good combo. So onto the one-ofs. I was playing 1 missile launcher. I should have been playing 2 or 3, but we're playing 2 We Shall Save Humanity, which is a 2-check. And then we're playing Final Anguish, which is also 2-check, so that's already 6 2-checks there. So I didn't want to max out on like copies of missile launcher because it's another 2-check, and I don't want to play like a lot of 2-checks. I wanted to be able to sling a lot of 5 difficulty attacks. That's the thing with Astaroth, is you want to play a lot of 5 difficulty attacks, or at least you want to play really important 5 difficulty attacks. So it's a 5/2, 2 mid block, 3 low for 6. It's got stun 2, EX 2, powerful 4. It's got a great deadlock enhance of increase all of its keyword ratings by 3. So it just scares our opponent into building into deadlock because we can possibly pick this up at any time. And it's got enhance. We can mill 4 cards to either get +4 damage or +4 speed. This card just blows our opponent out. I'm playing 1 Woodman's Leaf Shield. It's another pretty nice deadlock enhance of +1 speed and +1 damage for each card in our opponent's hand. And then it's got a static of all our opponent's block mods get +1, and then all of their attacks get -2 damage while it's in the card pool. So if we don't think we're going to kill him off Astaroth, we can just like pick this card up, which is really, really nice. That's a 5/3, 3 high for 6 with a 1 mid block. So it's just one really good defensive card that we can pick up off of Astaroth. I'm playing 1 Shokin Grab. I think it's good because it can get really big. Like I said, we're playing all 5 difficulty attacks, 20 in total, meaning that this could potentially get 19 damage, and then off of Astaroth it'll get 3. So this card can get +2, 22 damage. So like this could be a 3 high for 26, which is insane. Those are Final Anguish numbers, and it's not a 2, but it doesn't have the 0 high block. It's a 5/3, 3 high for 4, just +1 damage for each 5 difficulty or higher attack in our discard pile. Then I'm playing 1 Shield Big Bang. Since we're playing the As-Well attack that builds momentum, I think this combos well with it. Form life card pool. We can remove an asset to replay this. We can't use that, but it's got an enhance of discard momentum to build in an asset into our staging area, which is why we're using it. That's why we're only playing it as a 1-of, because we can't just keep looping this card. But it's a 5/3, 2 mid block, 6 high for 6. That's just going to build us assets with our spare momentum if we don't have any use for them. Then on to the actions and then the assets. I'm playing 3. Your path ends here. I'm not maxing out on copies of this card because, like I said, I'm not trying to flip. The goal is not to flip my opponent's entire staging area. Like I said, I just want to flip a good number. And this is going to help with that. It's a 2/5/1 high block, enhance, remove. We can give +X or -X damage. X equals the number of face down cards in our opponent's staging area. And then they can flip 2 foundations to cancel this. So that just like if they have 3 or 4 and like our attack is going to get like really out of hand with like +4 damage, then they'll flip 2 to cancel it. That just feels like into our deck. And then our card pool, when we block with it, our opponent flips 2 and they can discard a card to cancel it. So like no matter what, this card's probably flipping foundations, which is going to help us a lot. Or maybe it even discards a card out of our opponent's hand. But it's a really good block. I'm playing 1 Omega Sword and Owl Shield. I actually found this card to be really, really good. Just the enhance 4. This attack gets damage equal to your attack's block modifier. 2 of our throws have 3 low blocks, which is really insane. Just giving a throw 3 damage because like after block, it's going to basically just dealing 2. And then while it's ready in our staging area, our blocks ignore progressive difficulty, meaning that since we are playing some bad blocks, we can get away with them just because we don't have to count towards progressive. But yeah, it's a 1/5 with a 1 mid block, so it's really easy to build. And like I said, the enhance 4 just like helps blow our opponent out with our throws. I'm playing 1 Kulutues. I don't know if I said that right, but I like to call it Cooties. It's a 2/5 1 mid block. It's got Desperation 1, which is interesting, and then it's got Unique and Weapon. Our once per turn after our weapon or throw, deals damage. We can flip one of our opponent's assets or foundations. Wow, this card is insane. Just being able to flip your opponent's assets, because it might be an asset heavy format coming. Just being able to flip Xiangmina's asset, or like Fiddlesticks, Blood, Sweat, and Beers. There's just a lot of good assets running around right now, and this just says once per turn, flip it. I don't want to deal with that asset anymore. It's got a Deadlock Enhance, which is actually really, really insane. It says we can give our weapon or throw +6 damage. So if we play this and our opponent doesn't have any hate, they can't build in the Deadlock. Just we're playing 12 throws in our deck, and like giving a throw +6 damage actually just blows your opponent out. It's really, really insane. I'm playing one Palindrome. It's a 2/5 2 mid block unique weapon. Enhance. I can commit. Sorry. I can commit one foundation before the block step of this attack. And then I can return it to its printed speed and damage, and then our opponent can flip a foundation to cancel it. So if my opponent just like has a lot of stats on a card, then I can just use the Palindrome to make them flip one. That's the goal of this card, is to just make our opponent flip by just being really annoying to like their stat buffs. I'm playing one Surpass Your Limits. Shout outs to the boys on this card here. It's a 3/4 4 high block unique weapon. It's got 2 enhances, and then it's got a response. Enhance, I can flip a foundation to give +1 damage or -2 damage, which is really good. Just being able to flip for -2 damage is really nice. The one damage isn't too good on the card. Once per turn, enhance, I can look at the top card of my deck and discard it or not. This helps us get rid of our 2s. Pretty self-explanatory. And then it has a R destroy. After we block with a card, we can respond destroy this, and then our opponent's next check to play an attack card gets minus equal to the block modifier of the card that we blocked with. So we can block with, like, because some of our throws have 3 low blocks, and so we can, oops, I put the wrong card back, sorry. So some of our throws have 3 low blocks, so we can block with them and then respond, destroy this, and then give -3 to our opponent's next check to play an attack, which, like, basically ends their turn, which is really nice. And I'm playing one Requiem. It's just really nice if you're flipping foundations and whatnot. Enhance once per turn, plus X damage. X equals the number of face-down foundations your opponent controls. And then it has an enhanced commit of minus damage equal to the number of face-down foundations your opponent controls, and your opponent can flip one to cancel that. But it's a 3/1 with a 6 check, which is really nice. It's just another one that we can build off of Shield Big Bang that helps us and helps our offense and defense. On to the foundations. I'm playing 4 Hell's Reach. Since we're being like a really aggressive deck, just being able to play a foundation that readies itself is really good. So your 5/3 mid block, enhance, playable while committed, flip, ready this. I'm playing 3 Eviscerate. I actually really like this card. Like I said, since we're trying to just poke at our opponent's foundations and debuild them, this card just is perfect in our deck. It's a 1/5/3 mid block. Our card pool, after we play it, if our opponent has more face-down foundations than us, then we can build this into our staging area, and then our flip, after you are dealt damage, your opponent flips a foundation. A really cool interaction with this card is you can block with it, then it's going to build down, then you're going to take damage, and then you can respond, flip, make your opponent flip stuff, which is really nice. That's what I like about this card. Playing 4 Memories of a Fallen Warrior. It's a 1/5 1 high block, Desperation 0. After our attack is partial blocked, we can give our attack +1 damage. Pretty self-explanatory. If our opponent tries to block, partial block our throws, because it's really juicy to partial block a throw, because it'll just only deal half, and you don't have to like perfect block it or anything like that. Just getting the 1 extra damage matters. Playing 3 Fusion or Refusal. Playable while committed, enhance. I can put this from my staging area into my card pool for +2 or -2 damage. And then if I didn't play it as a form, it doesn't count towards progressive difficulty, so it's a really good block. It's good DR, it's good damage pump, and it's a 1/5 with a 3 high block. I'm playing 2 Unlikely Allies. It's a 2/5 with enhance. My attack gets +1 speed, and then if it's a Fury, it also gets +1 damage as well. I found it to be really, really relevant. Just getting the extra speed for our throws, just making them a little more annoying, so our opponent has a harder time. And then I can R-flip and flip another foundation. If my opponent plays a response on an attack card, I can cancel it, which is actually pretty good. I'm playing 2 new enhancements. Personally, I'm in love with this card. It's a 2/4/3 low block. Enhance remove, I can take an Earth Foundation from my hand and put it into my staging area. And this is playable while committed. So if we like... something I really like is, since we're playing 2s, if we check bad, we can commit this and then like enhance remove it to build like a Hell's Reach, and like that's just like a lot of value because the 1 foundation, we lose a card, but the 1 foundation turned into 3 potentially, which is really good for us. And there's just other really good stuff that we can add, like the Unlikely Allies, a couple of the foundations that you'll see from here. Yeah, I think it's a really good card for this deck. I'm playing 3 Sense of Morals. It's a 2/5. Doesn't count towards progressive difficulty, and then enhance 4. I can ready 1 foundation that's been committed by my opponent's card effect this turn, and this is playable while committed. It's just good to just mill cards off the top of your deck just to find out what's left in your deck, and then like your odds of what like you can check and whatnot. And it just helps our build turns. Just as a 6-hander, this card like enables us to build 5, which is really good. I'm playing 3 Servant of Ares. It's a 2/5/3 mid-block Desperation 1. Enhance commit. My throw attack, it's +4 damage. That effect's really good. I also really like the other effect, which is Enhance Flip, pay 2 Vitality. I can flip one of my opponent's foundations, and I get to pick for this card. So this card just helps like kickstart the fury of flipping your opponent's foundations, or it can just give your throw +4 damage, which is a lot. I'm playing 3 Second Saintly Beast. It's got really good deadlock pressure. It gives speed. It's a 2/5/3 high block breaker 1. Once per turn, I can mill 3 to give +2 or -2 speed, which is really nice. Just being able to fill your discard pile for Astaroth is really nice, just so you have a very wide option of 5 diffs to pick up. And it has a deadlock enhance of your opponent flips 1 foundation. So if you can get this off, then your opponent's probably going to stay in deadlock just because they might not have a lot of destroy outs. I'm playing 3 Energy Absorption. It's a 2/5 with a 3 low block of enhance once per turn. I can mill 3 cards to give +2 or -2 damage, but that effect only happens if I have more current life than my opponent. It has a response, but we're a 6-hander, so we can't use it. I'm playing 3 Folktale Storyteller. It's a 2/5, 2 low block our card pool. If we play it from our hand and we have 2 or more foundations in our staging area, we can mill 3 to put this into our staging area from our card pool. It's really good. Just fuels our discard pile and gives us extra foundations to work with in our turn. Then enhance commit, I can choose a card in my discard pile and shuffle back into my deck. I can pick 6 checks. I can pick extra copies of attacks I have. Yeah, I think this card is just good all around in general. Playing 3 One with Nature. So I think that this card pairs perfectly with Vicious Madness, since it can't be partial blocked, and it's the 4 mid for 8. I think these pair really well together because with Astaroth and then the 1 with Nature, it's going to get a total of +4 damage, meaning that it's a 4 mid for 12. But 1 with Nature says enhance, discard a card. Our attack, if our opponent tries to block our attack, it gets +2 to their block mod, which is uninteractable speed. And then response, once per enhanced step, I get +1 damage if I discarded a card. So this 2/5/3 low block is going to give us 2 uninteractable speed and +1 damage. So it makes cards like Vicious Madness way harder to block because they can't be partial blocked, meaning they have to block mid. And then it's got 6 speed with 2 of it uninteractable. And it's just going to deal a lot of damage. I found this interaction to be really, really good. I'm playing a 1 Invincible Iron Body. It's a 3/5/1 low block. Enhance remove. We can give all our attacks +1 damage and safe for the turn. Just make sure, since some of our attacks are a little slower, just giving our attacks safe so that it can't be dealt with is really nice, just so we don't get reversaled. And then our flip, if our opponent tries to stun us, we can cancel it. So if our opponent tries to reversal us, if we didn't use the enhance, then we don't have to deal with it. Yeah, we're just playing 1 because it gives damage, safe, and stops stun. So it's a good 3 diff. And then for the last card, I'm playing 4 Thunderstorm Roar. So yeah, like I said, we're just trying to jam like a bunch of cards into our discard pile. And then just this card is going to give us a lot of speed. It's a 3/5/4 mid block. Enhance commit, +1 speed for each of our opponent's face down foundations. And then if we have more than 30 cards in our discard pile, then we get another instance of +1 speed for each. So like I said, we're trying to average 4 or 5 foundations face down for our opponent. So we're going to enhance commit for 4 or 5 speed, and then if there's over 30, we get to do it again. So this card can give us like 8 to like 12 speed sometimes, which is really, really nice. Alright guys, so like I said, that was my Astaroth deck profile under Earth. I think this character is really, really cool. Just being able to pick up a 5 difficulty attack from your discard pile and add it to your hand is nice. And then just being able to give 3 damage on your attacks and flip your opponent's foundations is really cool. And he's a 16er with 33 life. Like, Xiang Mina is in this set, from the same set as him, and she's a 5-hander with 31 life. Yeah, I don't know. The math on that's kind of weird. I get an extra card and I have 2 more life. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, guys, like I said, that was my deck profile for Astaroth under Earth. If you like the content, you can check us out down below at TCG University. We got deck profiles, we got the study hall, and then we have the campus championship as well, along with some other solo projects done by our good buddy Tamron. But yeah, you can check us out on Facebook, on Twitch, here on YouTube, or you can check us out at patreon.com/TCG University. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Stay learned.